Greetings. Why is the world media silent on the scale of climate threats? Who and why is hiding the truth from people about the real causes of global climate change? How is deteriorating ecological situation and climate affecting human health? You will learn the answers to these questions as well as to many others that affects everyone's life at the May 7, 2022 International Online Forum Global Crisis. We are 86 degrees on the record, and it is 31 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than usual. At the same time, other regions of the planet suffered catastrophic floods and storms.
On April 7, 2022, Australia was hit by torrential rains. As a result, the level of local rivers rose. The city of Sydney, in the state of New South Wales, was affected the most. Within 24 hours, more than a month's worth of rain fell in Rose Bay. A helicopter crew rescued a man from a car carried away by floodwaters, and about 1,600 residents were also evacuated. There were no reports of fatalities. Some roads were closed due to flooding. We would like to note that for the first 3 months of 2022 in Sydney, the amount of rainfall has already exceeded the annual average and amounted to more than 1,200 millimeters. In early April, heavy rains caused flash floods and destruction in 5 provinces in southern Thailand. More than 108,000 people were affected by the disaster. Homes and streets were flooded. On April 10th, Storm Maggie hit the Philippine coast. As a result, more than 136,000 people suffered. Unfortunately, there were dozens of casualties and some people went missing. The day before April 10th, in Marsin, South Leyte province, more than 250 millimeters of rain fell. In some places, the wind reached 105 kilometers per hour. The natural disaster brought heavy rains, which caused landslides in 10 mountain towns, as well as floods. As a result, houses were destroyed and roads were flooded. Power was also cut off and crops damaged. More than 29,000 people were forced to leave their homes.
Hello, this is the breaking news reporter from South Africa. On April 12, 2022, heavy rains caused severe flooding in the province of KwaZulu-Natal in the Republic of South Africa. The residents of the city of Durban were affected the most. Unfortunately, dozens of people lost their lives and some people are missing. Some areas have been affected by landslides and flooding of local rivers. The natural disaster destroyed roads, damaged power lines, flooded cars, and washed away several houses. There was an evacuation of people in the affected areas. Earlier, on April 5th, the most powerful storm in the last 37 years hit port city of Melilla in Spain. Intense rainfall for 4 hours turned streets into rivers and caused severe flooding. Because of the east winds, which reached 70 kilometers per hour, a yellow alert level was declared. Air and sea traffic was also interrupted due to the disaster. There was no information about fatalities.
As of April 17th, devastating floods and landslides in the province of KwaZulu-Natal have killed over 250 people. The storm was the deadliest on the record in South Africa. Thousands of homes and hundreds of buildings were damaged. An average of 12 inches of rain fell over a 24-hour period around the city of Durban, double the previous record. In addition, parts of the province received more than 18 inches of rain in just 48 hours, nearly half of the annual norm in Durban. After surveying the flood damage, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the local community, quote, "This disaster is a part of climate change. We no longer can postpone what we need to do to deal with climate change. It is here, and our disaster management capability needs to be at the high level. Climate change also entails a catastrophic lack of rainfall elsewhere on the African continent. A professional firefighter from Ghana will tell more about the consequence.
My name is Nee. I'm a professional firefighter. I belong to the Ghana National Fire Service. I have worked for over 11 years. I was talking about fires burning the bushes, destroying wildlife and, all that. But drought, climate change is really affecting drought. Natural activities and human-made activities are also destroying the environment. There's acute shortage of water in various places. There's no water for them to drink. Up there in the north, there is no water. People share drinking water with cows. I'm doing what I can do in my own small way, because what will happen within the next 10-20 years is really going to be very bad for we as Ghanaians, because now the water bodies are drying up because of illegal activities, because of climate change. So if we want things to be better, I think creative society has to come together. We have to come together with our African brothers here, the Ghanaians here, so that we can work together and make things better for us. So, madam, these are various ways that is affecting us. Ghanaians are sharing water with cows, drinking water with cows and animals that they do defecate in these river bodies, and you fetch it and you drink it, you get cholera. You see, so create society, we need more arms. We need everybody to come on board to help, to broadcast the message, to spread the good news of how to take care of our environment. And that is what I think will help. Children who drink from these streams get cholera and waterborne diseases. It's all over. When somebody calls you, there's a fire here, we need water. As a fireman, every fireman needs water to extinguish fire. And water, to even locate a source of water, it's a big problem. You can travel for Mars before you can get water to fight fire. Why? Because climate change is affecting it. Yes, where there used to be water bodies some 10 years ago, some 20 years ago, some 50 years ago, all of these water bodies are drying up due to climate change. I don't think we are ready. We are ready for the consequences. Each and every blessed day, things keep getting worse. I'm telling you, by the year 2050, it will be difficult for us to even locate a single source of water in Ghana here, because the water bodies are getting polluted due to climate change and due to human activities also. You see, so I don't think we are ready. What I'm suggesting is, creative society, we have to do more by alerting people, by educating people, by conscientizing people about the effect of climate change. We have to do more, we have to send more, we have to broadcast the message so that people will know that when they don't wake up, it should be too late for us. And it will be too late for humanity before we realize things have gotten out of hand. I think it will really make an impact to make things better. Yes, for me, I think it will go a long way to change the mindset of people and to change the environment as a whole.
Together, all of humanity, we can change the conditions of a consumer format of society that glosses over the true causes of climate change. We can bring together all of our scientific potential to understand the real causes of climate change and direct our attention to develop technologies that will help save human life. After all, disasters are wiping out the entire cities and taking people's lives. Coming up next, an eyewitness to a deadly tornado in Kentucky, USA, that divided many people's lives into before and after.
My name is Joanna Schroer. I'm a constable for the Graves County area, which was drastically hit in the tornado. It's Mayfield, Kentucky is the city that's involved. On December 10th of 2021, we had what was reported to us as an F4 tornado that had traveled in excess of 220 miles and had covered, I believe, 4 states. We lost over 70 lives, and that included everything from elderly people down to infants. And it's very tragic. And on December 10th, I was out there at the candle factory, and this monstrously huge building was reduced to a flat land of rubble that you could just kind of crawl up on top of. There were people inside that we were trying to get to, and so you had to watch where you stepped. Additionally, you had to watch the men that were working with the cranes had to watch if they lifted metal on one section trying to get somebody out. Sometimes it would put pressure on people in another area. One of my friends was buried for 5.5 hours and not sure if he was going to make it. He did survive, and he helped to save several people around him, but unfortunately, a woman that was under them by one layer and they were standing on her did not make it. And he is traumatized by that experience and about knowing that there was nothing that he could do. There was a pregnant woman who made it out. She was 7 months pregnant, and that was a rejoiceful thing. And there were people that had been amputations based on the events that had happened. And the broken bones and the crushed, mangled bodies that came out that were screaming will be something that will stay with me forever. And then I went into town, and it was mind-blowing that the landscape of a complete city was virtually leveled. It's literally like you're in a war zone and you're just trying to do a head count. Unfortunately, the hardest part is so much of the population was hurt that it's hard to give when you're trying to care for yourself. So a lot of our help came from outside communities coming in. And now we're probably more in a level of frustration because people want to know, where is FEMA? Where is this help? Where is the Red Cross? Where is this help? How do I get money? These are the things that I get asked a lot. People need to come out and understand this could have been you. It could have been your home. Now that you're sitting in your home because it passed by you, and you're watching TV and you're playing video games and you're eating a warm meal and you're okay, your neighbor 2 doors down is not okay. And the one thing that I would like to tell the whole world, to everybody who's listening to this, the biggest gift you can ever give anyone in your life, including yourself, is the gift you give someone else that's in need. What I would say is our earth is ever changing. And for you to believe for one moment, no matter where you live, that you are safe from a natural disaster, you are lying to yourself. It is not true. And if you don't take what we've learned and what we're still learning and apply it to your life, then you're setting yourself up for maybe a loss that you have to face someday, and you think, well, I could have done something. You need to learn about the earth. You need to learn about climate. You need to learn what you can do to help, how you can put yourself forward and make the conscious action to be proactive.
If you have witnessed the climate anomaly, send your video footage to climate@creativesociety.com. On April 11th, a powerful storm cyclone struck the state of Arkansas, USA. It brought heavy thunderstorms, torrential rains, hail, and about 10 tornadoes. Wind gusts reached over 56 miles per hour. A state of emergency was declared by the National Meteorological Service as a result of a rampage of the natural disaster. In a number of settlements, power supply was broken. Cars and houses were damaged. Temporary shelters were opened in the schools in the state. What's next for other climate disasters in North America as well as in Asia?
On April 11, 2022, Portland, Oregon, USA experienced its first heavy April snowfall in nearly 120 years. According to the National Weather Service, the last time winter precipitation fell here in April was in 1903. More than 400 trees fell under the weight of the wet snow throughout the city. This exacerbated the hazardous situation on the slippery roads and caused a halt in vehicular traffic on some highways. More than 77,000 people across the state experienced power outages. A day earlier, a rare April snowfall hit Vancouver Island, Canada. More than 30,000 residents were left without electricity. In some places, the snow cover was 20 centimeters high, making it very difficult to drive on the roads. According to a local resident, such snow is normal for winter, but it is abnormal for April. On the night of April 11th, a powerful storm struck Sichuan province, China. There were casualties. Large hailstorms hit plants, cars, and windows. The hurricane wind felled trees, demolished roofs of houses and billboards, broke windows and severed power lines. About 400,000 households were left without electricity. Heavy rains caused flooding. The torrents of water swept away cars and some drivers were trapped in water. Earlier on April 7th, a dust storm began in southern Kurdistan, Iraq. It passed through the north of the country and shrouded Baghdad and other cities across much of Iraq in an orange mist as it moved south. Dozens of victims were hospitalized with respiratory problems. Air and ground communications were disrupted due to poor visibility.
In a short period of time, a huge number of natural disasters have occurred. Unprecedented floods and landslides, uncommon temperature records, anomalous snowfall, powerful storms and hurricanes. All these climate changes are the consequence of processes occurring in the interior of the planet and are caused by enormous energy from the deep space. Every 12,000 years, our solar system enters the range of the radiation, and right now we are on the brink of a disaster.
The main cause of these observed changes is the cosmic radiation, which leads to the imbalance in all systems of our planet. We can see the result of their impact even with the naked eye. Cosmic rays strongly ionize the atmosphere, which contributes to the formation of unusual clouds that actually do not bring us anything good. In recent years, due to low temperatures and an increase in water vapor, the formation of silvery clouds in the upper atmospheric layers is observed more and more often. These clouds reflect sun rays and thus less the heat reaches the Earth. In the stratosphere, again, as a result of lower temperatures, nacreous clouds are formed and their emergence leads to destruction of the ozone layers. In the lower layers, ionization increases and the thunderstorm clouds are formed. Thunderstorm cyclones also to be mostly observed in tropical latitudes, but nowadays they are moving further and further to the north. The increased cloud formation due to cosmic rays impact will result in global cooling of the planet. But the most destructive effect is invisible. Cosmic rays cause additional destruction on the ozone layer, which means that the level of ultraviolet light is growing and the chemical composition of the very top layers of the atmosphere changes. And the most dangerous thing is that cosmic rays directly affect the DNA molecules of living organisms, destroying them and provoking their mutations. We are witnessing tremendous changes in the atmosphere due to the 12,000-year cyclicity caused by galactic radiation. On the one hand, the atmosphere is unbalanced and its composition it is changing. On the other hand, due to the processes in the core, the magnetic field is weakened and its ability to keep the atmosphere increasingly deteriorates. As a result, the protective properties of the atmosphere are weakening. This has happened before in previous cycles, but now, as the environmental load of the planet is increasing, it may simply not be able to withstand it.
Environmental disasters is something you and I created with our own hands, as opposite to the climate change. By destroying the health of the planet, we are killing our own immunity in the face of impending danger. In a consumer format of society, there are still no effective measures to prevent an ecological crisis, let alone climate crisis. Because the laws of the market work against human. Money and power are valued above human life.
Let's take, for example, country X, let's call it so. It has manufacturing, it has the ability to produce a lot of goods, but these goods are also produced in 99 countries. The market is occupied. What should one do? Allocate some funds. Support eco-activists in quotation marks, who will stir the crowd and lead it to the street under the pressure of these mass. It is somehow uncomfortable for the administration, for the government to refuse, that's firstly. Secondly, if they refuse while there are problems with the climate and masses of people in the street, how can they not allocate funds? They will, right? Where will they get these funds? Out of their pockets, out of the pockets of those people who just went out on the street to fight for the climate. They took money out of their pockets, gave it to some ultimate beneficiary and imposed a restriction on manufacturers to reduce carbon dioxide emissions in their country. This is really so. That's how it happens. They exert under pressure from the masses. The administration is forced to put pressure on those domestic businesses that provide jobs and provide the economy for those people who came out and started demanding. In the end, their children won't get enough of something. These people will under-earn something. Many of them will end up in the street because they won't produce the necessary amount of goods in the consumerist world. Their market will begin to sag. Meanwhile, this country X, which financed all this nonsense, will come with its goods. It will fully recoup all the losses, which are actually pennies, to buy these activists compared to such a vast market. And it will make a lot of money. Well, isn't that true? My friends, isn't it true? Isn't it so? What have they achieved? Masses of people came out. Are their lives going to get better? Let's see. Let's do such a social experiment. We know who came out, we know where they came out, and let's see over the next, let's say 3 or 5 years, how their lives will improve after their actions. And then we'll say whether I was right or wrong. That's how we have it all arranged. Well, thank God they're already talking about it openly. So, it's not news, but people keep listening and keep believing. Why? Fear again.
And they want to do something, but they don't know what.
You see, back then, when these processes started, we saw them and spoke about them. We spoke about that very neutrino, which up to now, so far,
Yes.
only a few people begin to confirm that indeed,
There are emissions.
a huge number of neutrinos is coming from the Earth. It's abnormal, right? But how far back did our scientists record this? When did we talk about it? We talked about entering a cycle and that it's going to be a big problem.
Being aware of the seriousness of the ongoing catastrophes, people from all over the world are uniting on the platform of the Creative Society. We informing everyone of the only way out of the situation to build a Creative Society, because only with the consolidation of people on the planet can we find a solution to any problem. Now the future of civilization depends on each of us. Thank you for being with us today, and see you soon on the Creative Society TV.